I'm Gary Opedal, and I'm the Economic Development Director for the city, and honored to work for Mayor Berry. But before I turn it over to the mayor to share this exciting announcement regarding Albuquerque's foreign trade zone, I thought it might be helpful to give you some background. For those of you who might not know about foreign trade zones, foreign trade zone is defined as an isolated area, geographic area, you can see it here on the map, adjacent to the international port of entry, which is the Sunport, where industry can store, repack, sort, mix, perform value-added manufacturing with foreign goods without being subject to import duties, otherwise known as taxes. Foreign trade zones are important industry for two reasons. First, if the final product is sold outside of the United States, the company will avoid paying import taxes altogether. This saves the company a lot of money and helps us create jobs by encouraging manufacturing in the U.S., specifically in Albuquerque in this case, even though the final product was never destined for the domestic market. Second, if the final product is sold inside the United States, import taxes are deferred until the product is actually sold. So you can store it in a warehouse and you don't have to pay the taxes until it's sold, which you can imagine helps businesses with cash flow immensely and very much reduces their risk. In some cases, the final product after value-added manufacturing has taken place may be exempt from import taxes altogether. In that case, the company can avoid paying import duties even though the final product was intended for the domestic market. Albuquerque's foreign trade zone, known as Foreign Trade Zone number 110, was granted by the Foreign Trade Zone Board to the City of Albuquerque's Aviation Department in 1984. The foreign trade zone consists of 62-acre parcel near the airport. You can see the picture there. And now what I'm about to say is really important. In order for a company to use our forward trade zone, the company must perform the forward trade zone related operations physically here within that 62-acre parcel. You can imagine how difficult it is to recruit industry to locate to such a specific small area, or to ask local companies to move their operations there, especially when they have already made significant investments in their existing operations where they are. And those of us who've run manufacturing lines know how hard it is to move a manufacturing line. The only other option would be for the company to request a subzone designation, which is possible, but a subzone designation takes about 6 months and tens of thousands of dollars to get in application fees. That's not very convenient for a company that wants to set up in Albuquerque quickly, or for our own companies that we're trying to grow here. It's also very expensive. For those reasons, it's of no surprise that our foreign trade zone has not been well utilized in the past. In fact, most people don't even realize Albuquerque has a foreign trade zone. It's got to be a better way. And with that, I want to invite our mayor up to take it from here. And I want to note that this is Washington Post's most inspirational person of the year, and someone who tirelessly works to help make it easier to do business in Albuquerque and the surrounding areas. Mayor Berry.
Thanks. Thanks, Gary. Thank you. Okay, so I stayed up till midnight, and I've got a lot of caffeine to try to make this interesting, okay? This is interesting. And this is one of those things that we do inside of government that is hard to explain. It is not super sexy, and it is incredibly important. And so let me see if I can put this in terms that even I can understand as a B student here. I want Albuquerque to be a port city. Small problem, we have no ocean. So how do we overcome that? We overcome that by making smart decisions and including our friends and neighbors in an advantage system, which is what a foreign trade zone designation gives us, and I'll explain that in a minute. And so it is possible actually to be an inland type port. And Gary's been working on this with our team for the last couple of years, and we've already determined that the infrastructure that Albuquerque has, that our citizens have, there's not a city in the world that could replicate this infrastructure. We've got transcontinental railroads that run right in through our area. We've got a world-class airport. We've got interstate systems. We are poised to be a distribution center and an import-export center. We've just underperformed. And I think the reason we've underperformed is because we haven't given our private sector partners and our federal partners even the ability to do that. So that's what this is all about. So today we're going to talk about how we're thinking outside of the box literally, and that's what Gary talked about to make this happen. This is an expansion of the foreign trade zone, the zone that provides these tremendous business opportunities and breaks for business inside of that. And as Gary said, right now, if you look at this map, our trade zone is that little red dot. And that little red dot's where we're standing, and it's 62 acres. What we've done is expanded that little red dot to everything you see in yellow. And that is a major deal. And this is the first time we've done a major expansion like this since I was 22 years old, 1984. That's a long time ago. So it's long overdue. So we can do better, we need to do better, and this is going to help us do better. And we're doing that and a lot more. Over the past year, we've worked diligently to reorganize this Zone 110 to expand it to include the entire region. Because if there's one thing I've learned as a mayor, and I think I've subscribed to this all along as mayor, is we can't just work inside the lines of Albuquerque. If we're selfish as a city and we don't include our regional partners, we all lose. And there are tremendous opportunities. Mayor Hull's going to talk about this in just a minute in Rio Rancho. So we've included the city of Rio Rancho. I talked to Mayor Gonzalez, Javier in Santa Fe. And we've actually been able to negotiate the city of Santa Fe. All of these things you see in Valencia County, the Facebook things, all of the plastic injection molding factories, incredibly important. And so when you talk about jobs in Albuquerque, and jobs went up or jobs went down, that's the MSA. That's not just inside the lines. And so we're not going to be selfish with this. And we frankly could have been. We could have said we just wanted inside the city limits of Albuquerque. But Randy Trask and our team went out, and we actually had to negotiate to get this expanded as far as we did. And this is about as far as we feel like we could get it negotiated. So the map shows you it includes all of Bernalillo County, all of Valencia, Rio Rancho, Bernalillo, Moriarty, and as I said, even Santa Fe. So now through this alternative site framework designation, job creators from large manufacturers to individuals, any size importer or exporter can now take advantage of a foreign trade zone status. I've got a bunch of thank yous later, but with us today is Tracy Thorpe. Tracy is the Customs Port Director at the Sunport. And I just was joking with him, this is the reverse of an unfunded federal mandate. He's going to have to now inspect warehouses, all not just in 62 acres, but as this starts to grow in our region, he's going to have to do that as well. So it allows for sizable cost savings, as Gary said. It significantly reduced costs from customs, duties, taxes, tariffs. It improves global market competitiveness, and as importantly, it minimizes bureaucratic regulations. So these companies can be a lot more agile. And they can be used for trans-shipping operations, saving money on manufacturing processes. While most companies are focused on using these foreign trade zones for exports, they can also be used to take advantage of cross-docking and transferring goods from one trade zone to the other. And as we talk about economic opportunity, a lot of this is value added. So we may not be able to make cars. We may not have an auto factory in New Mexico, but if we're making parts or aircraft parts or something along those lines, a lot of times it's just a matter of shipping something in, adding value to it, and shipping it out. Johnson & Johnson Ethicon, perfect example. Medical parts come in, they've been manufactured somewhere else. We add value here by irradiating them, making them safe to put inside of your body during surgery, and then those go out. And by doing that value added, we create opportunities. So it gives a lot of opportunities to do that. Want to give a quick shout out. There's a lot of people in our region that have understood as we're doing these transportation studies and as we try to diversify our economy, these transload facilities, am I saying that right? Is it transload facilities are going to be really important. And we've got a number of these being developed in our region right now. I think there's 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 being planned or under construction. And these transload facilities are going to allow for that, and we believe that all of these are inside of this yellow zone now. So we're trying to make sure that they can succeed. So they'll bring things in, they'll do something with them, add value, repackage them, size them, create something with them, they'll ship them out, and they can do that all in an advantage in these areas. And that's why I think it was a good move. Your county commission a couple of weeks ago, a little controversial. They put $400,000 into one of these transload facilities that wasn't even inside of the county. And people would question, well, why would you do that? And the short answer is I think it was a good move that they made because we all succeed when our region succeeds. So I thought it was a good regional move, and I want to say thank you to our commissioners for doing that. That rail yard can now offer forward train zone capabilities. They weren't inside the red dot before, but they're inside the yellow. It'll greatly enhance their advantages to do that. So while this may seem a little dry, this really is a big deal. And this really will set up our region to diversify our economy. Once again, we're heavily reliant on the government sector, blessed to have it. We're heavily reliant on the oil and gas industry, we're blessed to have that as well. But we need to diversify our economy, and this is a big move to do that. So the next announcement you're going to see in a little while, a couple weeks, month or so, is the results of another study that Gary Opedal and our team have done, where we've brought the best experts in the country, I think in the world here, to talk about ways that we can maximize our transportation infrastructure. That's a $175,000 study. We're already getting some preliminary feedback on that, and it's not just about bringing in things on trains and on trucks. We're talking about doing leakage studies at the airports to see if we can do more air cargo to make more direct flights viable. So there's lots of things that study is going to do. So what do we do now before I turn it over to Mayor Hull? We need your help to spread the word. We now have an enormous trade zone capability in the Middle Rio Grande region. We should use that, we should sell that, we should invite people in to show that to them. We have a lot of opportunities to do that. I would invite, we'll get this to the media, anybody that has an interest, there's info@abcttradealliance.com, long thing, we'll get it to you so that you can print it, we'll have it on our city website. Also on May 4th of this year at 8 o'clock in the morning at C&M's Workforce Training Center out on North I-25, there will be an in-depth informational event to try to sell this. But I guarantee you, Gary Opedal, myself, others will be out there really selling this for the region. And I know you'll have a lot of private sector partners who are going to put their own money and risk their money to invest in this location because we've been able to do this. And of course, I get to tell you the story as the mayor, but the real work happens with some great professionals. We've got, Dewey's not here today, but Mr. Cog, the Mid-Region Council of Governments, very instrumental in this and in our transportation study, so thank you for the representation here. We've got Bill Woldman here from Senator Udall's office. As you know, Senator sits on the Senate Committee on Commerce and another committee on Foreign Relations. He's been instrumental. I think he's going to have a workshop, Bill, coming up pretty soon. Hopefully we can join you for that to talk about some of the opportunities here. Mayor Hull's going to speak in just a minute, the great mayor of Rio Rancho. Or is it the mayor of the great city of Rio Rancho? Was he the great mayor or the mayor of the great? Okay. I'd say he's both. He's a friend too. Of course, we've got public and private leaders in attendance here today from Bernalillo County, Valencia County, the city of Rio Rancho, the town of Bernalillo, the city of Moriarty, and of course, Santa Fe. And I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that we got a great staff out here. Pam White's here today. From the aviation department. Daniel Haron is here as well. All of our professionals out here. Peter's here as well. So thank you everybody out here. And of course, Gary Opedal and then Randy Trask. You know, Randy does a lot of our work with the Trade Alliance, and we've really kind of reinvented that. And Randy's been a big part of that. So when we take these foreign trade trips, we make sure that we're spending dollars wisely and making sure that we're having opportunities to take these New Mexico companies. So Randy's been instrumental in this. He's come into my office a number of times. He fought hard at our direction, of course, but it was his fight that got this expanded to the level that it did. So all summed up, good day for the region, good day for opportunities for people in the private sector, good day to maybe bring some more manufacturing into our region, bring some more value-added operations, work with our federal partners, and at the end of the equation, it's about creating jobs and opportunity in our region. So proud that we were able to get this done. So with that, I am going to bring up my good friend and the great mayor of the great city of Rio Rancho, Greg Hull, to talk about some of the things that they do out there. So thanks.
Thank you. You bet. Yeah, you don't want me sipping on that right now. I've been caffeinated enough this morning as well. So anyway, well, thank you, Mayor Barry. Thank you, and thank you to your staff and the people that have been working to put this together. I'll give you a little backdrop to to my story is when I took office, one of the things that I did identify was that this tool called a foreign trade zone needed to be expanded, and for some of the items for some of the people that we're trying to attract up into the Rio Rancho market, this just makes sense. If we want to diversify and attract more manufacturers and people who have a more of a global footprint, and they're bringing their products in from around the world to assemble them and deliver them either in the country or out of the country, having the foreign trade zone in your community makes sense. Although, being the city of vision, we were hoping to maybe get certain sections designated, but when Randy called me yesterday and said, well, we got the whole city covered, I said, it took me aback a little bit, but it was very exciting because it's one of the tools that I wanted to expand upon for the city of Rio Rancho to help attract businesses to the region. And as the mayor knows and Gary Opedal knows, they've been a great partner with Rio Rancho in regionally attracting new businesses, new companies to the area, not just Albuquerque, but to Rio Rancho. I do frequently say the people who live in Rio Rancho work in Albuquerque, and people who work in Albuquerque live in, and vice versa. So working together just makes sense so that we can grow our economy together, so that we can work on a regional basis. So seeing this come together like this is just absolutely wonderful for Rio Rancho. It's a tremendous opportunity. As the mayor pointed out, this was a very small 64-acre site. And looking at that from the business world, saying, hey, we have this opportunity, but you have to build in a certain location, that doesn't always meet the business model of what people are looking for, or perhaps the land's not priced right, or there's other disadvantages by saying you have to go to a specific area. By opening this up to a wide regional opportunity like this, it really gives an investor, a job creator, the opportunity to come in and say, I want to put my business model where I want it, and I see that you've gone to the great length and the great trouble to make sure that I can make that model happen wherever I feel it's appropriate for my investment. So looking at it from this standpoint, it's just a tremendous opportunity as this comes out. And obviously, once again, including the city of Rio Rancho, because we feel that there's just tremendous opportunity. Years ago, Mayor, I don't know if you knew this, but Rio Rancho did have a foreign trade zone in one of the very small areas of our community. It wasn't getting very utilized, and at some point in the past was allowed to expire. And so one of my goals was to try to renew that or bring it back in some level of form. But the city of Albuquerque, working as the good partner they are with Rio Rancho, decided to just blanket the whole city, and I appreciate that as well. So really, really excellent opportunities that are coming our way. And I just can't talk about the regional partnership and the opportunities that this creates. So from the city of Rio Rancho standpoint, we're very grateful for all the work that you've done and the great partners that you've been. I know that we have Mr. Willman from Senator Udall's office who'd like to say a few words as well. So before I say goodbye, I'm going to introduce Bill and have Bill come up because I know he's got a few words. But I also want to recognize Senator Udall's office has been a tremendous support in some of these regional projects as well and getting these things done. And so we've had some tremendous partnerships that are accomplishing these great things for New Mexico and helping us, giving us the tools that we need to really diversify our economy as we talk about creating new opportunities. And we've seen a lot of new opportunities come up just recently here with Safe Light Automotive, PCM and some of the other job creators that have come into Rio Rancho, and then the other ones throughout Albuquerque. So we're seeing a lot of activity. We're seeing good growth. It's because we've got some tremendous dynamic leadership. I want to say thank you to Randy for including us and keeping us as part of the process, and Mayor Berry for keeping us as a regional partner as well. So thank you for that. Bill.
Mayor, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, good morning. On behalf of Senator Tom Udall, I just want to thank the mayor and Gary and Randy for pursuing this designation on behalf of the small and medium-sized businesses here in New Mexico. Along with the Central New Mexico Rail Park, as the mayor mentioned, these are more tools in the toolbox to attract companies to come to New Mexico and for companies to expand. And for small and medium-sized businesses to expand to 95% of the market that's outside the borders of the United States. As the mayor stole a little bit of my thunder, but as the senator is on the Commerce Committee and the Foreign Relations Committee, he's keenly aware of what this means in terms of international trade and what it could ultimately mean for the businesses here in New Mexico. And in that context, he is sponsoring a conference on the 21st of February, the International Trade Conference. We're having people come in from Denver, from the SBA, from Washington, D.C., from the Overseas Private Investment Corporation. But as importantly, in the afternoon, we're going to have a trade fair, resources for companies so they can talk one-on-one, but also have Randy talk about the foreign trade zone. He's going to be a seminar on that, and also the discussion on the Central New Mexico Rail Park. So a lot of these things are all coming together at the same time to benefit companies in New Mexico. So I just want to congratulate the city, the area, Rio Rancho, and everyone who's connected with this on this designation. It's going to mean a lot for business in New Mexico, for expansion, and look forward to the success of this federal-local partnership. So thank you very much.
Okay, so that's a lot of information. I just will remind people too that several years ago, we opened the first of its kind trade office in Mexico City. It's a partnership between the City of Albuquerque and the University of New Mexico. We're trying to work to attract students back and forth across the border to study in each of our respective countries. And we've taken a number of local businesses down to Mexico City. It's an enormous market, 20+ million people. And so any of the business folks that are out there looking to do import-export, that's a great opportunity. We have a staffer down there. She's available to you, and it's a good opportunity.